Alright, so today we're going to talk about another type of loops, those being the do-while loops. Now, do-while loops are actually pretty similar to while loops. Now, in order to better understand how do-while loops work, we can actually consider the following problem. Let's say we're given a number n, and we want to print all the numbers starting from n and ending at 1. So first we're going to write this program using a simple while loop, and then we're going to try to translate this program into a do-while loop. So first we're going to need a variable called n, alright? And then we want to read the number that is given to us in the console. So we're going to say cin n, alright? So we just memorize that number in the variable n. Alright, and now let's try to write this program using a while loop. So we're going to write while, and here we want to write the condition for which this while loop will end. Well, when do we want this while loop to end? Well, actually when we arrive at the number 0, which is the first number smaller than 1. In other words, if we actually take the value from n and actually keep decrementing the value in n until we arrive at the value 1, that's where the condition will be false. So in other words, we can say while n is actually greater or equal than 1, alright? While n is greater or equal than 1, we are going to execute this program. Alright, so what do we want to do? Well, actually we want to print the current value of n and separate that value by using space. Alright, and then we want to decrement n by 1. Alright, so let's see if this actually works. So we declared n, we read the value and stored it in n, and while n is greater or equal than 1, we first print n and then decrement it. And this will keep going on until n becomes 0. So let's see if this actually worked. So let's say we take n as being 5. It will actually print all the numbers starting from 5 and ending at 1. Alright, now let's try to use the do-while loop. Now, the do-while loop actually works in a similar way. Now let's first comment this while loop, and let's decide how the do-while loop works. The do-while loop has the following syntax. So you first write the keyword do, then accolades, and after the last accolade you write the keyword while, parentheses, and then a semicolon. So this is the structure of a do-while loop. And the do-while loop actually works in the following way. First, it executes the instructions and keeps executing them while a certain condition is met. So in this case, if we say do cout the message something while n is greater than, let's say, 0, and we actually decrement n for every step, it will actually, and let's again read the value in n, it will actually do these lines of code while n is greater than 0. So let's try this program and see if it actually works. Now, we didn't separate the word something by anything, so let's see. If we try for n equals 5, it will print something. I know it's hard to see. It printed it 5 times. Now let's try to translate the while loop or this program in order to suit our original problem, which is printing every number starting from n and ending at 1. What do we want to do? Well, first we want to do the same thing. So we want to cout n and separate that number by a space, and then decrement n. And this will keep going on while n is actually greater than 0, or in other words, n is greater or equal than 1. Alright, let's see if it actually worked. So for n equals 5, it actually did the same thing. So we can see that while loops and do-while loops are pretty equivalent, right? Well, not really. They're almost equivalent. There's only one test case in which these two loops are actually wrong. So let's actually test these. So let's say, for example, if we started with n being 0, alright? So if we give n being 0 into the while loop, it will actually execute nothing, because right from the get-go, it tests if 0 is greater or equal than 1, which is false. So it will not execute these instructions, and it will just skip to the next instruction, which is a cin. So now it's waiting for us to give another number to n. Now let's say we give exactly the same number, which is 0. What happens there? It actually prints something. Why is that? Because the do while loop actually first executes and then tests, while the while loop first tests and then executes. So this is the main or the single test where the while and do while are not equivalent. That's where we have an input in which the test is wrong from the get-go. Now maybe you have the question, well, how can I write a while loop in a do while fashion or inverse? Now if you want to write a do while by using a while loop, you actually just need to execute all the instructions highlighted in the accolades before the while loop. So this will actually do the same thing. This structure will be actually literally equivalent for all cases with the do while loop. Now if we test this, we try for the number 0, and you see it actually did the same thing that the do while loop did, which was to print 0 even though the condition was false. So this is actually how you can write a do while loop by using a while loop. You just have to execute all the instructions highlighted in the accolades before the while loop and then write the while loop. Now you're probably wondering, well, how can I write a while loop by using a do while loop? Now this is actually pretty simple. You just simply have to test if that condition or that initial condition is actually true. So you just say if n is greater or equal than 1. Alright, and this will actually just test from the get-go. If this is true, then it will execute the do while. Alright, let's try this. So first we just say 0, and this is where the while loop is being executed, and here is where the test case actually becomes true. So if we again type 0, it will do nothing, because this time this do while is equivalent to this while without the initial steps. Alright, that is actually all you need to know about the do while loops. Generally, I think it's pretty useful to know that there's actually another type of loops beside the while loops and the for loops. And actually that is all for today. I hope you liked this video, and I'll see you next time.